Spoiler alert. Do not listen to the program if you have not watched Avatar The Last Airbender in its entirety. This episode will also include dialogue about the legend of Korra and the extension of the Avatar universe beyond The Last Airbender. Thank you for joining us on Avatar State of Mind, a podcast exclusively dedicated to the universe of Avatar The Last Airbender. From The Last Airbender to The Legend of Korra and the comic books published in between, this is your number one stop for Avatar content. I am your host, Aaron Miller, and I am joined by my friend Sam DeCoste to spend the next 30 minutes with you, talking about Zuko's Honor, underground libraries, the Air Nomad civilization, and so much more. So grab a cup of tea from the Jasmine Dragon and enjoy the program. This is Avatar State of Mind.
Welcome back to Avatar State of Mind. I am joined once again by Aaron Miller to talk about everything about Avatar. So thank you all for listening to our first episode last week. It was a big success for us, and we're going to follow it up with another strong episode. This time, we're going to talk about Avatar trivia. Aaron and I are going to quiz each other on everything that we know about the Avatar universe. So the way this is going to work, Aaron and I, before this show, we have compiled 24 questions each. 3 rounds of 8 questions. Each round gets progressively more difficult. We'll start with easy, then medium, and we'll finish off with the most difficult questions. And these questions could be about anything that happened in Avatar The Last Airbender. This is not Legend of Korra. This is not the comic books, not Kyoshi. It's just The Last Airbender, the original series, the 3 books with 61 chapters. That is what we're going to be talking about. And at the end, we're going to see who knows Avatar better? Who is the better trivia master? And by all means, as you're listening today, be sure to play along with us and see how much you know about Avatar. So let's test the knowledge of the listeners, and let's test each other's knowledge. So without further ado, Aaron, how about you ask the first question?
Yeah, I'm excited about this. And just before I ask my question, I just want to let everybody know that we did not share these questions with each other. So this is really going to be a test to our knowledge. So I'm going to start off with the easy questions. We'll go easy to hard.
And we're going to go back and forth. So Aaron will ask, then I'll ask, and then I'll go like that.
Yeah, and I know there's bound to be repeats in our questions just because there's only so much you can ask. So I'll start it off. Sam, what famous line did Zuko say to Sokka when they were traveling in the hot air balloon to the boiling rock to find Sokka's dad?
You're joking, right?
It's an easy question for a reason.
That's rough, buddy.
Wow. Good answer.
Good answer. All right, so that's one for me. By the way, I will be keeping track of the correct answers as we go. All right. So, first question I have for you, Aaron. In the episode The Guru, when Aang is trying to master the Avatar state, he's trying to master his chakras. How many chakras are there?
Well, before I answer this question, this was one of my top 5 episodes I discussed last week.
Yes, so it would be shambolic if you got this wrong.
There were 7 of them.
And that is correct. You get your first question right.
All right, we're tied 1-1. Let's go. All right, I'm actually not going to do it in order. I'm going to do it in easy, but I'm going to skip down a little bit. This is a very easy one. What do an airbender's tattoos mean?
That they are an airbending master.
Good answer.
Good answer. So that's 2 for me. Now, Aaron, next question. Who has the last speaking line in the show?
Toph Beifong.
Yes, that is correct. Now, this is not part of the question, but do you remember what she said?
Ah, God. It was an entire sentence, right? It was something about... I don't remember.
It was when Sokka was painting a picture of everyone in the Jasmine Dragon, and then everyone was criticizing Sokka because he's a terrible artist, and then Toph's like, well, I think you all look perfect, and it was the last blind joke of the show.
And every single episode did have a blind joke.
And that's what's missing from Korra, no blind jokes.
Sadly.
All right, next from Aaron.
Yeah, so what is the name of the spirit that Roku sends Aang to talk to in his first trip into the spirit world alone in Book 1?
That would be Ko the Face Stealer.
Yep. And do you know the backstory to Ko?
In terms of what?
In terms of what Roku warned Aang of before he interacted.
Well, that if Aang made the slightest expression on his face, that Ko would steal his face. Yeah. As he did with Avatar Kirk's fiance 4 generations ago. Okay, I believe I am asking the next question.
Yeah.
Okay. In Book 1, when Team Avatar visits Kyoshi Island, what is the name of the fish that Aang rides?
Oh, boy. Oh,
it seems my level of easy is much more difficult than yours.
Yeah, your level of easy is my level of medium. So, I really don't know the answer. It's the Great Koi, something like that.
It is the Unagi.
Okay, yeah. Well, there's two fish in that episode, right? There's the one that he was riding, and the one that ate that one.
That is true. Yeah, and that is a good interjection, but you didn't get that one right either.
I think you got me.
So I got Aaron. So Aaron is the first to flop.
Don't worry, you'll be flopping when I get to the hard
Okay, let's go to next question.
All right, next question. What is the name of the beach that Zuko, Azula, and the Fire Nation family vacationed to prior to Ozai becoming Fire Lord? This beach they did visit in Book 3.
Ember Island.
Ember Island, yep. That whole episode and the whole beach scene between everything, people love that. That episode just turned into a meme, to be honest.
So, that would be 4 for me. 4 out of 4. Next for Aaron, my question. What did Zuko say in the storm when Zuko is challenged to an Agni Kai by his father? What did Zuko say to the Fire Lord that made the Fire Lord challenge him to an Agni Kai?
So, I believe the Fire Lord, he wanted to attack the Earth Kingdom at a very weak point and go against innocent people. It's what I remember. And Zuko said, "You can't do that. You can't attack innocent people." Stuff like that. I know there were 2 occasions, even when Zuko was accepted back into the Fire Nation and he was like arguing. I don't know if I'm mixing up the 2. Am I?
Well, is that your final answer?
Yeah.
Okay. Well. And by the way, let me just clarify in case you do want to change your answer. This is when we learn how Zuko got his scar. Mm-hmm. It is when he went to Agni Kai with his father. Mm-hmm. He was at a war meeting, which Iroh let him into. And Zuko said something out of turn that made the Fire Lord upset. What was that? Is that still your answer?
Yes.
Okay. Well, it is not.
No.
And I'll tell you what it was. It was him speaking out because a general was proposing a plan that would bait soldiers. They were going to have a division of Fire Nation soldiers that were rookies that would just be thrown out there as bait, and they would be eliminated on the spot while the strong enforcements came in and wiped the Earth Kingdom out. So that's what he said.
I get half credit?
Well, I don't know. I feel like I should give you a little bit of credit for that.
It did say innocent people.
It did. Innocent fire and people from our nation. So I'll give it to you. I'll be nice because it is the easy round.
All right, thank you. How many easy questions are we doing?
We are doing 8, so we have 4 more. And right now I have had 4 out of 4 correct, and you have 3 out of 4.
All right.
So next question for me, Aaron.
Yeah. So what did King Bumi tell Aang when Aang tried to rescue him from prison in the captured city of Omashu?
What did Bumi tell Aang?
Yes. It wasn't like you don't have to give me the exact words he said, but like what was generally what he said.
Okay, well he basically said he can't leave now. And that he can't be Aang's earthbending teacher. He needs to find a teacher who waits and listens to the ground.
There you go. Okay.
Ooh, I'm pretty good at this. I'm on a roll. I'm on 5 straight answers correct to start the game. Next for you. What did Jet do to lose the trust of Team Avatar? Specifically, what was the climax of that episode that Jet tried to do?
Jet blew the dam. And he would have killed so many innocent people in the Fire Nation who Jet didn't think existed, and he didn't think anybody in the Fire Nation was innocent. But luckily, Sokka got everybody out.
There you go. That is correct. So it was Jet trying to flood a Fire Nation village by blowing up the dam.
All right, so I love this question a lot because I love the history of Avatar. And this was said in The Last Airbender. What is the name of the Fire Lord before Fire Lord Ozai?
That's a good question, and the answer is Fire Lord Azulan.
Yep. Which Azula is named after Azulan. If you couldn't guess.
Yes, exactly. Next question for me. In book 1, when Team Avatar visits Omashu, and Aang is forced to complete 3 deadly challenges, do you know what the 3 deadly challenges were?
These easy questions are very specific.
They are very specific, but I told you I was gonna go after you.
Well, I know the general courses of them. I don't know of like just names or anything.
Just tell me what he had to do in each task. Not like vivid detail. Just say, task 1, you do this, that, and that.
Yeah.
So what do you have to do?
I know the first one related to Flopsy, right?
Yes. Wasn't the first one, but it was one of them.
One of them, yeah. And he had the third one, of course, was fighting Boomy, and then, well, there's actually 4. There's a fourth challenge.
There is technically, but
asking about his
I've heard of
name.
the 3 deadly challenges.
The deadly ones. Oh God, this is very specific. And to be honest, this is one episode that I didn't really rewatch out of all of them. This is probably one I watched the least.
It's actually I really like this episode. It's my favorite episodes in book 1.
Really?
Yes, it's one of my favorite episodes in that book. Mm-hmm. But what's the other challenge? Because he has a duel. Mm-hmm. He has to rescue Flopsy. What's the last one?
There was one where he had to get the rings or something like that. He had to cap. It's like an obstacle course, sort of, like jumping through hoops and stuff like that, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm going to give it to you because you were very close. The answer is get his lunchbox key hanging in a waterfall.
Yeah, that's what I was referring to.
Yeah, but that's close enough, so I'll give you the point for that.
All right. So this is probably my hardest easy question. Nowhere near as hard as your easy questions. What are the names of the moon and the ocean spirits?
Now, this is interesting because this is a question I have.
Okay.
So we both know the answer to this, so we'll give it to each of us, but the answer is Tui and La.
Correct.
Push and pull.
Push and pull.
Yin and yang. So that is interesting. That is our first question that has overlapped. So we will both get credit for that. So how about you ask your last question of the round?
All right. So which Avatar lived the longest?
Avatar Kyoshi.
Yep.
There you go.
Easy one.
Finishing 8 of 8 in the easy round for me. Now for you, Aaron, my last question for the easy round is, in book 1, in The Deserter, when Aang is convincing Zhong Zhong to teach him firebending, how does Aang convince Zhong Zhong to teach him firebending? What happens that changes his mind?
Roku. He brings Roku in, and Roku's like, yeah, teach this guy.
Yep, Roku comes to his rescue. So that is the end of the first round. I finish 8 of 8, and Aaron finishes 7 of 8. And there's clearly a big gap in the difficulty of our questions, but it's okay. We're here to hold each other accountable anyway.
I honestly think our medium questions are going to come in. And instead of doing 8, 8, 8, do you want to do 5 medium? Because I feel like mine require a lot more thinking than the easy ones.
Well, I think if we do that, why don't we just do all of them at the same time? And then, so I ask you all mine, then you ask me all of yours.
Okay, yeah, let's
just do that. Let's just go all in with this.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll ask first.
Okay.
So how long was Aang asleep for after Azula shot him with lightning and Katara brought him back to life? And this we actually talked about this in the easy question, so this is an easy medium one.
The question is, how long was Aang asleep?
Correct.
Actually, I don't know. I don't know that.
Really?
I don't think we've talked about this. I mean, there's no this definitive...
Yes, there is.
Is there?
He asked Katara, and Katara says exactly how long he was asleep for.
What she says in that episode, which I hope is the answer, is a few weeks. Is that good enough, or do you want more than that?
It is a few, but she says something very specific.
So you're looking for a number?
Yes. You're one ahead. I need this right now.
4.
It is 3.
Oh, that's tough. Okay. I don't remember when that was said, but Okay, well, you've clearly taken a step up with the difficulty now. So
I believe it was said as soon as he jumped out of the ship and he was going to confront the Fire Nation who was coming onto the ship, someone's like, "Oh, stay back! You've been asleep for 3 weeks," or it was an interaction like that.
okay, interesting. Well,
Yeah.
keep it coming.
Yep. So where did the bloodbending woman in Book 3, Episode 8, The Puppet Master, originate? And do you remember her backstory?
She is from the Southern Water Tribe, and she, apart from Katara, is the last waterbender from the Southern Water Tribe. And the village was invaded about 85 years ago, before the last Airbender timeline, and they took all of the waterbenders from the Southern Water Tribe, and they held all the waterbenders in locations where their bending was, how do you say, blocked, where there was no water in sight. And then what she did is she found new ways to water bend, finding even the most obscure locations of water, which was blood, and that's how she escaped.
Yeah. That episode growing up really, really freaked me out. And then, of course, it was brought back in The Legend of Korra.
Yeah, and the Legend of Korra takes that and runs with this concept, if you haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Good question.
Yeah, thank you. Good answer. So what part of the Day of Black Sun did Sokka and the rest of Team Avatar and the invasion of the Fire Nation underestimate and not fully consider before actually getting into it?
Ask that again?
So, obviously Sokka and Team Avatar, they planned out the Day of Black Sun Fire Nation invasion very well. There are actually 2 things they left out, but I'm only looking for one. So if you say either one of them, that's fine.
Okay.
Or if you say 2, that's good too. Which parts did they not fully consider?
I would say that the Fire Nation might have known they were coming. Mm-hmm. Is that what you're looking for?
That wasn't what I was originally looking for, but I'll also...
Okay, well, I'm kind of curious what the other thing is, actually. What they didn't consider. I don't know. But I have it, so I'm gonna let you tell me.
Yeah, I believe they didn't consider that the eclipse only lasted 8.5 minutes.
Interesting.
I believe that. I mean, at least my perception going into the show, they thought it would last an entire day, hours, not just 8.5 minutes. Because even Aang, like, he had to fight the Fire Lord with only 8.5 minutes. I mean, I don't know. Even hand-to-hand combat, that's expecting a lot. So
you're right.
Yeah.
Good question. Next.
So you got that one. What was so special about the Western Air Temple compared to the rest? And not just that the structure was upside down. What was so different about it?
Oh.
And this is a very, very big difference.
Wow. What's the difference? Oh, this is really hard. This is not a medium question, my friend. Let's see.
I can give you a hint if you want.
I will take your hint.
All right. So, I'm trying to be as vague as possible with this hint. In all of the other air temples, it was very specific about the people who were there, and it was different in the Western Air Temple.
So are you referring to the people that hailed from the Western Air Temple?
Correct.
During the Air Civilization's era of existence?
Yes. And this is mentioned in the show.
You got me. I don't know. I don't know the answer. What is it?
So the Western Air Temple was primarily women.
Really?
Yeah, there were no men in the Western Air Temple. Obviously, the air nomads are nomadic, so they travel everywhere. So they're definitely men visiting. But as you can tell from like the Southern Air Temple, where Monkey Otso and Aang came from, all the flashbacks you only see men and boys. You don't really ever see women. All the women hailed from the Western Air Temple, closest to the Fire Nation.
And where did you find this out? Where did they tell us this?
It's mentioned in... Do you remember the flashback episode when Zuko and Iroh visit the Western Air Temple at first?
Yes.
It's referenced there. You could definitely answer this question just by watching that episode, but it's really, really reinforced in the Kyoshi novels, like, heavily. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, you got me. Keep going.
I'll give you partial on that, because, like I said, and this is supposed to be a trivia just for The Last Airbender, it is definitely referenced in there, but it's reinforced in the novel. So
okay.
I'll give you credit.
If you're going to give me credit, I'll take it. So thank you.
And this is number 5, last one. You made it to the finale. What does Katara do when she and Zuko finally hunt down her mother's killer? There's multi-question here. What do you think this interaction and outcome meant for the rest of the show? And did her decision impact Aang's decision in Sozin's Comet?
Well, yeah. Yeah, of course it did. Katara holding back and realizing that revenge was not the answer helped Aang actually start considering that he actually might have to kill the Fire Lord. Because apart from before this, it never really occurred to him that he would actually have to take somebody's life away. So it started considering the question, what will you do when you face the Fire Lord? And Zuko asked it, so of course it affected his decision.
Yeah.
Is that what you're looking for?
That's what I'm looking for. All right, my turn. Let's go. Ask away.
Okay, so you only have 5 medium questions.
Just 5.
Okay, so I'll have to pick my 5 most difficult questions then. So let's see. True or false? During the series, the whole show, Aang had met the original source of bending from every element.
True.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. He met every single master. His pet is an air bison, Appa, sky bison. I mean, he met the dragons. He met the badger moles in the cave of Two Lovers, and then he knows the moon.
Yeah, he also met Sokka's girlfriend.
People they weren't dating. But we'll talk about that another day. But Sokka and Yue were never dating. They were just friends. She friend-zoned him so bad.
I'm interested about that. All right.
Okay. Next question. What were Zuko and Iroh's Earth Kingdom names?
Lee is one of them.
Do you know who that was?
Zuko.
That was Zuko's name. What was Iroh's Earth Kingdom alias?
Oh, God. It was a very, very simple name.
It was a silly name.
Was it 2 letters?
You mean syllables?
Yeah, I was thinking letters, but...
Well, it's 2 syllables.
2 syllables. I know this. I definitely know this. It's in the back of my mind.
I don't think you do.
Oh, God. Because I'm thinking about when the manager of the tea shop was it the middle ring? It was a lower ring. The lower ring before he got the Jasmine Dragon. The master said, no, I don't know. I don't know.
Mushi.
Yep.
Mushi.
I knew it was an M.
There you go. Okay, next question. When Aang and Zuko meet the Firebending Masters, what was the name of the secret society that Aang and Zuko met?
The Sun Warriors.
Yes. Very good. The Sun Warrior Civilization. Okay, 4th question. What are the names of those Firebending Masters? They each had their own name.
The dragons.
The dragons. Can you name the dragons?
I cannot. Absolutely not.
Ran and Shaw.
How do you know that they... Oh,
they do say...
The leader of the Sun Warrior says that.
Yes, It is said, so you can watch it again.
Yeah, I trust
So, 2 off. Not a good round for you, but let's see if you can finish strong. When was the first time in the series we see Aang enter the Avatar state?
When he sees Monkey Otso dead.
No. It's not. The first time he enters the Avatar state is in the 2nd episode when he's on Zuko's ship and he's escaping from Zuko's clutches.
That's true.
I knew you would say that because everyone thinks his first time was when he sees Gyatso dead, but it is not. It is when he is escaping from Zuko in the Avatar Returns, the 2nd episode of the show.
Because he was able to waterbend.
Yes.
In there, yeah.
Okay, so that is the end of the medium round. 5 questions each. I finish 4 of 5. Aaron finishes 2 of 5. Yikes.
Wow.
Yikes, bro. Anyways, final round. How many questions do you have?
So I have 6.
Okay.
But one of them, the answer is not found in The Last Airbender.
We have no time for that.
No time.
So it's just 6. Give me the 6 questions.
And honestly, these questions are very, very open-ended. So.
Oh, great.
Open-ended as in it'll take like 15 seconds to answer it.
Okay. Let's see it. Let's hear him.
So why is Azula's firebending blue instead of the normal, putting that in air quotes, instead of the normal red color? This is definitely not answered specifically, but in the fandom, people know why.
Well, I've been wondering that all myself, but obviously she's much more advanced than Zuko. At least before Sozin's Comet, Azula was always more advanced. She was much more in tune with lightning than Zuko,
But think about Ozai. So was he.
I don't know, bro. What is it?
I'll give you a hint. Think about the heat and what it requires to get to blue.
Is it because she's cold-blooded?
No. Almost.
I have no idea.
No?
You got me on this one. I have no idea.
So, you know how Zuko, his original firebending was based on
Rage.
Hatred and rage and everything. And then he lost it and he had to gain it back through like being peaceful and everything. Azula, her firebending is built purely on hate. And because it's hate, it's so hot and so powerful, it's blue. If you think about a sun in the sky, like our sun, our star is red because it's not that hot. But like a supernova that gets super, super hot, it gets blue. Even like a flame, if you're looking at a flame, if it's super hot, it turns blue. So because her firebending is just built on hate and wanting to like kill people, it's blue.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay, well, that's 0 for 1 for me in this round. Next.
Yeah. So why do you think Iroh refused to fight Ozai during Sozin's Comet?
Because he didn't want to be Fire Lord. He wanted Zuko to do it. He wanted Zuko to assume the throne. His birthright.
Yeah, that's correct. But just do you think that he could have fought him and then given it to somebody else, like Ozai just gave the Fire Lordship to Azula when he became the Phoenix King?
I don't see why not.
Yeah.
I mean, he was the heir to the throne originally before Ozai took his birthright away. Mm-hmm. Well, Azulan's death, essentially giving it to Ozai. But Iroh could have fought him, could have won, maybe. Don't know, because the Avatar, even the Avatar took it all the way to even get Ozai. But I think if what we were asking is, could Iroh give it to somebody else, the Fire Lord position, then yes, of course he could have.
Okay. Yeah.
This is a funny question. Can you name all of the cities and locations that we can see the Cabbage Merchant in?
Interesting. Well, off the bat, Omashu. That's the first time we meet the Cabbage Merchant. We see him at the Ba Sing Se Ferry. How many more are there?
We see, in between the two instances you just mentioned, we see him
Again.
And I said locations because there's no city name for this spot.
Well, it's not the Water Tribe.
No.
It's not the Air Temples.
It's not in the Fire Nation.
No. But it's on their journey to the South Pole when they could have seen him. Was it in the village of the Fortune Teller?
Close, but no.
Was it when Katara stole the waterbending scroll? There we go.
The pirate episode.
The pirate episode.
When the pirates are chasing him,
yes.
Aang flings back the Cabbage Merchant's
There it is. We got it. Okay. Good question. That's tough.
Yeah.
Okay.
Honestly, my hard questions are kind of hypothetical. So I think that's the end of my hard questions. The other ones really couldn't count into this.
You're done? That's it?
Yeah.
Interesting.
These questions that I wrote down that don't have an answer, we're going to have to talk about in a future episode, though.
Okay. Well, I finished 2 of 3 for that round. First question. This is a really tough one. And I do not think you will get this.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
In Avatar, the creators were so attentive to every single detail about the show that every single form of bending was inspired by a real form of East Asian martial arts. Mm-hmm. Can you name every element's martial art form?
No. I can name what each nation they were modeled after, but martial arts.
That's not what I'm looking for.
No.
No. Well, got him already.
Tell me.
I'll tell you. So waterbending is based off Tai Chi. Earthbending is actually multiple forms, including Kung Fu, Hungar, and Shugar. Firebending is Northern Shaolin, and airbending is Baguazhang.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So how long did it take you to Google that before we did this?
Well, I knew most of them already. I just had to Google like what was the water bending.
No, we've had this conversation before about all of this stuff. So.
And that's why I appreciate the bending so much, because every style is different from the other,
Yeah.
which makes it even better. Next question. The Great Divide.
Yeah.
Though obviously the most obscure episode in the show. But do you remember the names of the two tribes that were at odds?
The Gonjins was one of them. And the other one, one of the characters in the Kyoshi novels was actually in the other one. He was one of the leaders, actually. I don't know the other one.
The Zhangs.
The Zhangs.
The Zhangs.
There you go.
The good old Zhangs.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll pick one more.
All right.
What does Ba Sing Se mean in Mandarin? Now, we've talked about this.
We have.
I've told you.
Yeah. My memory lately is horrible. It means a city that cannot be penetrated, right?
Yes, the impenetrable city.
Yep.
Which is close enough.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, but I couldn't pronounce that.
There you go. The impenetrable city. Before we wrap up, I just want to tell you the scores because I won, and I want to make sure that is blatantly known. I had all 8 answers correct in the easy section, 4 out of 5 in the medium, and 2 out of 3 in the hard. Aaron had 7 out of 8 in the easy, 2 out of 5 in the medium, and just 1 in the hard. So to total that up, I have 14 correct answers, and Aaron just has 10.
We're definitely going to have to do this again.
Again? Well, if you say so. Just come up with more questions next time, won't you?
Yeah.
But so I am the trivia master for the first round of trivia. So bow down to your king.
Oh, yeah, you wish.
Yeah, okay. But that was fun. First round of trivia.
Yeah, absolutely. And before we close out this episode, I'd just like to thank everybody for listening. As Sam said in the beginning of this episode, our first episode really, really kicked things off. Even our social media, our Instagram, which is at Avatar State of Mind, and our Twitter at Avatar SOM. In the first day, we had 50 followers on each platform. And right now, I think we're closing in on 75 on Instagram. I just think that's fantastic. This community is really growing with only the first episode being published. We're going to publish every single weekend. I know we said originally every Saturday, but it might come out on a Friday, might come out on a Sunday if we're late on something. So we're just going to say every weekend just so we can get ahead of things and not be late to the show when we say we're going to be there. But other than that, you have anything to talk to our fans about, Sam?
Not for now. Just this is a super fun episode. This is a different dimension that we were doing last episode, but I'm excited to see what we do next time, and we'll have some thinking to do and see what we want to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'd like to thank you guys all for watching, and make sure you share this to all of your friends if they love Avatar, if they don't love Avatar. We don't talk about that many spoilers. Even though we say spoiler alert, I believe you could listen to this alongside watching the show. It's definitely an addition to everything the show can present to you. Thank you so much for listening to this second episode of Avatar State of Mind. We will be back every Saturday with a new show around noon Eastern Time. Subscribe to our show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever else you get your podcasts. Follow us on Instagram at Avatar State of Mind and on Twitter at Avatar SOM. And let us know what you want us to talk about on the next show. As much as this podcast is our podcast, we are doing this for the listeners. Let us know where you want us to take this show and what you'd like us to talk about. We're in this together. For Sam DeCoste, my name is Aaron Miller, and thank you once again for joining us on Avatar State of Mind.